Hey everybody, so we're going to talk about the fact that at Unite this year, so just a week or two ago, it was announced that the URP sample scenes are now ready to interact with. They're all live, they're all public, you can get to it as long as you can get into URP. So I'm going to come back to this page that talks a bit about what it is that we're looking at, but first things first, let's go ahead and talk about how you get it on your computer. So don't worry about seeing GitHub in the background. None of that is necessary for what we're looking at because it's all live, because it's all through the hub. What we want to do is go into Installs, Install Editor inside of Unity Hub, and make sure that you have the 22 LTS installed. So the one that I have on my computer right now, 22.3.14F1 is the LTS version that I have. If I go back into projects, do new project, make sure that I change the editor version up here to that newest LTS, and then come down to 3D sample scenes URP. We're going to see the same graphic that we just saw in the background right there underneath in this website. I'm going to go ahead and download the template, and let's give that just a few seconds to start downloading. So this is something very exciting for those of you that have worked in URP for a while. You've had the, okay, there's not a preview image there, but you've had the template URP scene of that small construction area with the hard hat and the piece of lumber and the light. So this is an enormous step forward in giving everybody really strong foundational scenes and a project to really dig into and understand all of the pros of Unity, of URP, different lighting styles, rendering styles, etc. So without further ado, let's go ahead and create the project. I'll call it LTS22 URP sample scenes. Let's create that project. And now while that is creating, let's jump back over here and look at what we're getting into. So I'll read this briefly. I promise not to just regurgitate all the text as this entire video moves forward. So we've created 4 vignette environments with different art styles, rendering paths, and scene complexity to represent the great variety of 3D projects built with URP. Sample targets a wide range of platforms from mobile devices to consoles and PCs, as well as VR headsets. I believe untethered VR headsets, which is a hard mark to hit. So let's scroll through here. Terminal, from what I understand, is the core environment. I've not opened this project at all. This will be my first time getting it open in Unity, so we're doing this together. But my current understanding is that Terminal is the main scene that you go into. The idea is that they pulled some look dev examples from airports, architectural renderings, museums, things that are kind of clean, futuristic sci-fi. And within here, there is an area that you can go up to and essentially jump between the different scenes as they load in. There's a really cool video out I can put in the description just for lack of preparation. Let me just search URP sample scenes. It's from earlier this year, I believe. Yeah, from April. So cross-platform game development with new URP sample. Again, I'll link it, but this goes into a lot of how they achieved some of these effects. I won't spend time on that in this video. This one's just meant to get you up and running with the new sample scenes. So you come in here and it loads in a different scene. One of those scenes will be the garden, which is a stylized rendering environment, has a bunch of cool lights outside and a courtyard, as well as an internal area that you can walk through. Looks like they'll have some particle effects. Really cool. This is the one that I was most excited to see when I first saw the announcement. Looks like Speed Tree is leveraged in here, so that'll be interesting. Oasis is another one where you can enjoy walking around this environment. Looks like it really focuses on just having a peaceful, nice environment. Uses complex shader graphs for sand, water, fog, and vegetation. Awesome. cockpit is the last one that's meant to run, I believe, on untethered VR or mobile VR. And this one is just highly stylized, interactive cockpit space fighter game. So these are the 3 other scenes that we're going to jump into. And ideally, each one is going to load in from that main scene that we're going to be able to walk around with the Unity core environment here. So looking over at the load bar, I have my project loading right this second. It is just now loading in. I'll take this opportunity to mention it is has been Cyber Monday yesterday. On the Unity Asset Store, just take a look around some of these things. If you go to the Asset Store, which I can link as well, 50% off a bunch of good assets. I've seen Odin Inspector and a few other of these recommended by many key Unity developers in the industry. So it's worth taking a look and seeing what 50% off will do for you. Okay, back over to this. Let's pull over the project. Okay, so Universal Render Pipeline, this series of tutorials is designed for beginners and intermediate users who want to discover the Universal Render Pipeline. Awesome. Okay, then we can get back to it if we so choose. Wow, okay, so within tutorials, it looks like there are a few different things that we can get into about graphical features and otherwise. So, let's see. I don't think that I care to adjust my quality settings right now. Let's look at the terminal. For this environment, we took inspiration from various modern museums. Yep, got it. Okay, this is looking super cool. So we have decals, we have reflection probes, we have scene setup, root, FPS controller, all of this kind of stuff down in here. Cool. This must be the room where you go to actually move things around or to transition between levels. Let's see what the garden looks like. Okay, so the garden's going to load in. While it's loading in, we can see a ton of lights in here. So I'll be interested as this loads in to understand what types of lights they're using. I'm excited to see that speed tree asset in here as well. Okay, so here's a lantern. With that lantern, you have a point light. That point light is mixed, so that means it bakes its indirect light and that its direct lighting is real time, I believe. We have a few particle systems. Nice, looking good. A bunch of decals. Here's that tree. That's looking really cool. Wow. Okay, so we can move through here. You can see that the shaders are still compiling. Wow, this is really something else. Okay, so there's the garden. Let's go into the Oasis. It will compile these shaders for us. Wow, stunning. Okay, this is awesome to see for the first time in Editor. Truly impressive. Okay, so goodness, I cannot wait to walk around this with WASD. Okay, and then we have our cockpit as the last one. Looks like there's a lot going on in here. Super cool. Next, so that must be the fighter that we're inside of. I dig it. Yep, there's our camera. So here is our cockpit. Nice. Okay, looking forward to that. It's hit done, and now I'm gonna hit play. Let's just walk through and see what we got. Okay, looking really good. It looks like we're using gaze as the main way to select things. So gaze tracking, meaning where your head is looking. Let me move forward. Okay, so each one has its own icon. Cool. So we have garden, we have Oasis, and we have cockpit. Let's go into the garden first. And if it is gaze control, the first time I'm playing through this, it's got to compile much of this stuff. I'm going to stare at it. It's going to load through. and it's going to seamlessly load in this other environment. That is awesome. Really cool effect. Okay, let's just walk around. Again, I'm trying not to make these videos more than 20 minutes long, so I'll move through this pretty quickly, but you all can tell how awesome this looks. And I think just for the sake of showing y'all what I'm looking at, I'm going to also play maximized instead of focused. Gosh, how cool. Okay, holding down shift for that typical sprint. Coming in here, staring, loading. Wow, great job to the team that worked on that. This is so cool. I cannot encourage y'all to do the same enough. Okay, so this is our very cool Asian-inspired environment. I'll go ahead and move forward onto our next one. Wow. And yeah, let's keep it going. I guess just for a moment, let me admire the tree. Yeah. This is something I am excited to come back and keep interacting with. It helps that I work for Unity and that I find this stuff so damn cool. Let's go to the next one, Oasis. Gosh. Nice. Okay, loading in the Oasis. Shaders compiling. Let's see if the computer is going to hold up. I imagine on build, things would be built out and baked in, so it would be a little bit more efficient than running this in play mode on the computer. There we go. And it came through to perfectly see the lens flare there. Gosh. Okay, so there's our podium to go back. Let's run through here. This is looking really nice, and I want to make sure that it's understood that this is all in URP. So this is the rendering pipeline that is meant for low-end chipsets, for things other than your gaming desktop, your consoles. So this is really optimized for things like mobile, WebGL, things that generally do not require a ton of compute, meaning everything looking as good as it does is just that much more impressive. Okay, so this is an environment that I'm sure we will come and see again in a little while. Let's go ahead and run back to the pedestal and load in our last level, and then we will call this video a wrap so that you now know how to get into the new version of Unity or the newest LTS and get into these sample scenes and walk around and start to explore yourselves. Okay. We are back in somewhere. See if I'm out of the level maybe. I'm gonna just assume that that's a small bug. So let's hit play, play, and now we'll just run into the last one ourselves. Nice. Okay, let's walk up here, load this in, see what it looks like. Wow. So super stylized. There's a bunch that we can dig into within each of these. Love this. And this one, again, I think is meant for untethered VR. So I don't expect for the controls to work too well. I just wanted to get in here and understand what we're doing. Now I'll look back at the load, hop back out of here. All right, and be back in the main environment. So again, this is Unity LTS 22. These are the new URP sample scenes. Give it a try, check it out, download this. Let me know what you think. I could not be more impressed. So please let me know. Thanks for checking out this video. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Have a great day.